Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for February 1st through 5th, 2021. How are you doing? Well, kind of nice to get out of January with all of that craziness. We've just got the tail end of these powerful transits. Right now, Jupiter and the Sun are still close in Aquarius, and they're in exact square to Mars, Black Moon Lilith. So, what this is saying is that we're trying to expand into who we are, our role in the new age, but there's a lot of messes that need to be cleaned up. So, for the supernova soul, we're talking about your worthiness, your self love in being able to honor and respect the gift that you are. And in the greater world, we know that there's lots of dark secrets that are oozing up from the surface, from underneath the surface, and need to be revealed if we're ever going to be able to have a healthier society. So it's an uncomfortable waiting game because we've got Mercury now retrograde. Yesterday, Mercury turned retrograde in Aquarius. And so now, and Venus moves into Aquarius today. So now we have Mercury in Aquarius, Venus in Aquarius, the Sun in Aquarius, Jupiter, and Saturn. So, wow. Now, this is a really different energy from the Capricorn. And this is something, this is an interesting week here because the shift is something we've been waiting for so long. Starting in 2020, January 2020, was when that Saturn-Pluto intense conjunction happened exact during the beginning of January 2020. That marked this incredibly potent Capricorn astrology all year long. We just had a mini bloom of that with Venus conjunct Pluto for this full moon in Leo. But now we're moving out of that Capricorn energy. And it's kind of that, it's making me think of that Stockholm syndrome thing where you are let out of your prison, but you feel so safe there that you don't remember that you're in prison anymore. And maybe wonder if you're confident and adequate enough to handle your freedom. So we're going to be getting used to this because the Aquarian energy is very much lighter. It's like expansive. It's vibrationally busier than that Capricorn energy. And so we're kind of getting used to this energy. But with Uranus, Mars, we just had this. Uranus is still not too far away from Mars and Black Moon Lilith. And Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, brings like a higher frequency vibration, kind of like almost like a static energy of that's representing an interruption of old patterns with new vibrations, right? So this Aquarian energy can very much affect your nervous system. So I'd expect people to be feeling lighter, coming out of the Capricorn energy, almost like taking a load off, but also like a subtle anxiety of like, wait, I don't know where I'm at, what's going on, this feels new and different. I feel a little bit better and expansive, but there's also this anxiety of some kind of an uncomfortable, unknown feeling. And this will continue because we have Mercury retrograde in Aquarius for these next 3 weeks. So the other thing is that Jupiter is with these right now, we've got the Sun not too far from Jupiter in Aquarius in square to Mars and Black Moon Lilith. Now, Jupiter has 3 exact squares with Black Moon Lilith, because they kind of dance around each other in February. The first is the 5th and 6th of February, then the 11th and 12th, then the 16th and 17th. So that's like the first week of February, second week of February, third week of February, exactly in alignment with this Mercury retrograde in Aquarius. So Jupiter square Black Moon Lilith for these next 3 weeks and Mercury retrograde in Aquarius is like, we've got to clean up the shadow if we're going to ever go into the Aquarian age, and we're up against the wall with this. And this is where this incredible empowerment is coming in the supernova soul of being like, how dare you treat me with such disrespect when I am a sovereign, powerful, potent, evolved spiritual being, a gift to this planet, right? So it's a radical shift from playing small, being small, feeling invalidated and worthless in this world as the light that you are, to recognizing this incredible wealth, like the most important piece of the puzzle in this next transition that we're in. We're already in it. That's a weird energy right now. We're like, okay, boom, all these planets moving over into Aquarius and the end of the Capricorn. We still got Pluto in Capricorn, but all of our personal planets done there. And yet we're having this Mercury retrograde in Aquarius. So it's this feeling of being suspended, between the old world and the new world. And I know we've been feeling this for years, right? But with Neptune having been in square to the nodes of the moon, we started feeling that like at the end of October. We got November, December, January, 3 full months of this very confusing transit. Because the nodes of the moon, the north node is like, how are we going to get forward? How do we move forward in our evolution? And then the south node is what's holding us back. So the north node in Gemini, we need to speak our truth. We need to come back into our voice. We need to have our enlightened leaders step up, a new visionary leaders step up and have their voice in the world. And new ideas, new directions. Then the south node, what's holding us back, Sagittarius, which is this epic journey and the hero's journey, this quest. And for the supernova soul, it's that feeling with the south node there, feeling like you got off your mission, you got off your quest, you failed in your quest, you don't deserve it, you have something to prove in order to receive your basic needs from this world. And so you can see how this all kind of ties in together with the Taurus explosion of Black Moon Lilith and Mars and Uranus, breaking the patterns of low self-worth and freeing, releasing from these delusional stories that you somehow failed and don't deserve to even be on the planet. And that's all getting resolved because it's like you are playing this incredibly important role and only you can play that. And more and more, you're going to see this come forward. That's what this January 2021 astrology was about. And now we're going to feel what that really means for February. But with Jupiter having 3 exact squares with Black Moon Lilith, Jupiter expands and brings light. And it says more, amplifies. So it's amplifying a tension square with hidden shadowy energies around our body, worth, wealth, substance. And so we're bound, it's a good time for disclosure of truth to come forward. Like, this tension of like, we cannot get into this new without having these truth, revealing these darker truths. And at the same time, we've got Mercury retrograde and Aquarius being like, wait a minute, what do we need to adjust before we can move forward? Are you really ready for the Aquarian age? Do you know who you are in the Aquarian age, the Sun, Jupiter, and square to Black Moon Lilith? You got to get all of that low self-worth, shame hidden down in the deepest corners of your psyche and get it out of there. And know that this is your time. You've been waiting and working for this particular time for lifetimes. And it's time to come and step up and play your role. But what is your role and what are we doing here? And how do we adjust to this new energy? And that's what this Mercury retrograde is. Now, it's powerful because during this Mercury retrograde, which goes from the 31st of January to the 21st of February, 3 weeks, During that time, we've got those 3 exact squares of Jupiter, Black Moon Lilith. Clean it up, clean it up, clean it up. Can't go anywhere till we clean it up. And that Jupiter light, maybe this is the final breaking point on disclosure energy, because Jupiter is just expanding, bringing the light to the deepest recesses of the hidden. It's like, I'm kind of seeing a picture of, like, you go into the basement, scary basement room, right? And it's dark in there, but as soon as you open the door, the light, you don't have to wait for the light to hit. It's instantaneous. But that's when you're going to see the rats scurrying and the cockroaches scurrying. You're going to go hide deeper. And that's almost like what this whole year has been about, trying to reveal this shadowy energy. But as soon as these energies on the planet know that they're being exposed, and they're like scurrying in deeper into the corners and into the foundation. And we got to this is the Saturn and Jupiter and Aquarius, that greater conjunction. It's like building a new reality for this new world, a new structure. And maybe to get rid of all of that vermin, you got to completely break down, demo, and build it up in a way that will protect against the vermin and make sure that can't come back in our house. So if you don't go deep into the depths and get the source and where this energy is coming into your structure, then you're going to have the same problem over and over again, right? And this is this astrology for February 2021. We've got to get into the crevices and clean it up, because and it just goes right along with this activation of self-worth for the supernova soul, because it's like, how dare you treat us this way? And we're your light and your hope and the peace of this world. And of course it makes sense, because the dark vermin would want to attack that, right? And but in this standing up in the strength of who you are and all you've gone through to be here, in that self-respect, you're saying, we're not gonna we can't keep going this way. This world is not appropriate for us anymore, and we're your most precious gift here in this bigger picture of evolution. We are the medicine. And so we've got to have an environment that's going to support our gifts and coming forward, the balm, the comfort, the great comforter that wants to work through our heart for the earth right now. And so it's a really powerful dynamic, and so different. The energy is so different. But like I said, we're so used to this heavy Capricorn energy, we kind of don't know anything else. We got so, it's like, you just get used to things, you compensate, and you go on. And that's that Stockholm thing where it's like, okay, well, what if we just take that heaviness off of you right now? And it's like, oh, but I kind of got used to that. Now I'm comfortable with that prison. Who am I without it? So definitely huge, fallout from this Venus conjunction with Pluto. And who are you? And Jupiter, Sun, expanding into your true identity, and the true identity of who you really are as a spiritual being, what you're being called forth into your important role in these times. And in order to do that, we got to drop all of those old stories. We got to step back out into the daylight. We got to claim our world our way. We can't go on this way. We've got to make it right. And the God wins, love wins, light wins in the end. And it's like we've had all these squares all for the whole month of January. The one that's left, well, there's two actually, but the main one we're going to be feeling is that Jupiter square Black Moon Lilith. We also have Saturn coming into exact square with Uranus. Now, we talked about how the greater conjunction wasn't really done. That's Jupiter and Saturn together, the Christmas star, right? In in moving into Aquarius together. But we're still feeling that happening because part of the story is that they both come into a square with Uranus, which they also did in 2000 when they came together. And so it's like a big completion of this last 20-year cycle. And so we haven't Jupiter squared Uranus this month, and that's coming to an end. But now Saturn is coming into its square with Uranus, and that happens exact from the 10th of February to the 24th. So pretty much we're just feeling that all month. But the influence of this, because they retrograde around the same times and they dance around each other, they're going to stay close and square until through July. So we've got like a 6-month period of time of this effect of this greater conjunction on our world. And as we try to figure out how to step into this complete other dimensional reality. And so these squares are, now that all the other squares are coming off, they're like rising to the surface with a very potent energy of what this is all about. Now, Saturn is our manifest world, the laws and rules of the universe, and Saturn's trying to figure out what's going on here in Aquarius because it's so different than Capricorn. And how do we build a new world out of energy? How do you build a structure out of plasma? And it's exactly the revolution we're in as we move from 3D, more dense 3D energies into 5D energies, and realize that everything that we thought material that mattered so much doesn't matter, because you don't get to take that stuff with you. And we've been defined by these roles that we play, and the items we accumulate, and the house that we have, and the job that we have, and our role, and it's like, ooh, we're just, moving into something completely new and different. And our identity of who we thought we were in relationship to the physical world, to wealth, to reality, is just got to be completely overhauled. And that's kind of what February 2021 is about, because the next lunation is on February 11th. New moon in Aquarius. Now, this is the hearkening of the Chinese New Year. The Chinese New Year is the day after, 24 hours after the new moon in Aquarius. So this year, Chinese New Year, February 12th, the year of the metal ox. Now, ox it's really interesting because we're talking about wealth, we're talking about stability, we're talking about the structures of this world, we're talking about values, and the ox has this energy of, it's also associated with the buffalo, is kind of in the Western understanding of this energy. It's like something stable and solid. And then we're in the metal cycle, which speaks to wealth and physical, our relationship to the physical world. So really fits this Uranus and Taurus energy, establishing a new wealth, establishing a new strength that's based on substance of what really matters, not these games that we've been playing out on the surface. While underneath, it's like, it's kind of that picture of like this nice veneer, pretty picture of like the Hollywood energy, and Facebook and our life, how it's all been so veneer and so surface, and underneath, there's dark energies there, that want to seek to control us through technology, and underneath the Hollyweird, if you want to succeed in that world, you had to be a part of some dark stuff, and it's got to fall. And it's already falling. We just haven't had the public display of the fallout. But just know that this is a big shifting time in February 2021. And we're at the Jupiter, Black Moon Lilith. We're at the end of the road with truths and the darkness. It's got to be revealed. It's got to be healed. So you cannot heal the darkness. How are you going to get rid of the roaches if you don't see them? Right? It's like, you got to find the problem. You got to see the problem, or you're never going to get rid of it. And these scurrying rats have been thinking that they can just hide deeper in society and keep going on doing all of the dark things they're doing. And no, not on our watch. We're done. We're not playing anymore. We got to get this cleaned up, and right here, right now. So, new moon in Aquarius is all new moons are always a new start of a new cycle, but it's the new Chinese New Year, which it feels good to feel like, oh, yeah, I think a new year, moving out of the year of the rat and moving out of 2020. That sounds really, really good. And so, that new moon in Aquarius. And then Chinese New Year the next day. And it's pretty interesting, these 11s, because the new moon is on the 11th. Mercury retrograde Mercury retrogrades back to 11, and then turns direct at 11 degrees Aquarius. Now 11 is a magical master number, and it's about a portal to a whole different reality. But in the manipulative forces with money, with numbers, numerology, 11 can mean war, like it's like duality and facing each other in conflict. And so that's kind of the energy here. It's kind of like the battle that's been going on, where we know we've been in a cyber war, and that's gone on behind the scenes. We really are in this worldwide cyber war. And so this month feels like it's time for that to come out into more common knowledge of what's really happening. And that's, it goes back to everything. It's like, how can we heal it? How can we heal our psyche if we're going to continue to pretend that darkness isn't there? And supernova souls, advanced souls, light worker souls on the planets are like enough of these games, enough of the deception. No matter if you're using deception for good or bad right now, it's an affront to the sensitive soul that has volunteered to be here for this time right now. And this hidden, shadowy game playing bullshit has got to stop. And the ramifications of the regular humanity coming into these deep, dark truths, it's not going to be pretty, but we got to get on with it, And so this astrology is so intense, so weird, but also so empowering, And so that's going to be a big shift, that new moon in Aquarius. And then I think that's the Super Bowl, or it's around there too. And then the Chinese New Year. But that we won't really feel we're in this weird suspended in between time. Like, okay, we can't go back to the old world, but that new world hasn't quite arrived, and I know we've been feeling this for years, but this is the essential moment of that, because we've got a stellium in Aquarius with all these planets, but Mercury retrograde in Aquarius, So it's this uncomfortable feeling of being suspended in time, can't go back, can't go forward, stuck in the birth canal. We had some false labor. There's no turning back. And, we've all had these experiences in life where we know that you just kind of have to make it work. And that's kind of these 3 weeks. We just have to make it work and live in the trust and the faith of who you are as a soul, and in the trust and faith that you are about to receive this avenue to be able to express yourself and your gifts in a way that you didn't think was possible, and to really just get in there and get to work, and you're going to feel so much better. But it's like hanging Chad. We're just kind of like dangling there in the unknown. And I have to say that I don't think, maybe the Mercury retrograde could bring a kind of a rest and just get a grip, and almost like it could bring a little bit more peace in knowing that you can't do anything right now, and because it's hard, because there's activating energies, this uncomfortable Aquarius vibrational nervous system anxiety, but I can't do anything. I don't know what to do. I don't know who I am. I don't know where I'm going. And this has gone on for so long. I'm about to blow a gasket, But on the other hand, it can be like, okay, rest, breathe, the cleansing, the care, the self-care, like, am I really ready? Am I really ready to let go of everything that needs to be let go for me to move into this new paradigm? Because one thing's for certain, we are, we're in the uncomfortable place of in between, but we can't go back. And so that by definition means we're going somewhere. We got to, right? And you're here to lead the way. So rest up, take care of yourself, get comfortable in the uncomfortable, because it's only 3 weeks. You've been waiting so long for this. It's only 3 weeks. And then Mercury will be in retrograde shadow until March 13th. But once it turns direct, I think, and it's almost like I'm seeing this, the swamp has been just this hidden foggy mess, but now the swamp is bubbling up. It's like the sea monster is under there, stirring stuff up with this Black Moon Lilith energy, and it's bubbling up to the surface. So that's what I would kind of expect to see over these next 3 weeks, is bubbling up to the surface, kind of just that pressure for the radical changing moment, the shocking radical changing moment that we know has to come, because there's just no way around it. But a really cool thought of getting out of the year of the rat and the vermin and into the ox, where we're standing up for ourselves. We're establishing our strength and our stability and our wealth, and saying, we remember who we are and how precious we are and how important we are. And so how dare you treat us in this way? And now we're going to need to be more supported if you'd like our assistance in this evolution. And so just incredible sense of strength within the supernova soul. Like, maybe that's part of this astrology too, is just like diving deep into your resilience, into your strength. You know who you are, coming to this place of being so confused, but now coming into like, wait a minute, I'm sensing my wealth here. And if you're not going to respect that in the highest regard, don't come anywhere near me, because it won't be pretty, So it's almost like January was that empowerment energy of realizing who you are and the wealth that you are. And now it's like the kind of assimilation, the activation of that in February. So I'm so glad that we're here together, that we found each other. Super powerful messages coming through about what we're doing here in our groups and our soul groups, and connecting in a network with the Supernova Soul Tribe. And I've seen a picture of all these different networks that have been growing, and they're going to be actual mechanisms of how we plug in the right, help people find their right group and the right project and the right job and the right opportunity, as we hit the ground running and creating structures to support humanity in this shift. And so it's such an honor to be a part of this project, and it will become more and more clear. It's like, now, so the Aquarian energy is out here. And it's like, oh yeah, somewhere out there, there's a new age, a new energy. I don't know. People keep talking about it. Things do seem weird, but now it's landing home. With all these planets in Aquarius, right? We've had all those planets in Capricorn. So just know it's a complete and total shift. And you might find yourself kind of going into the back old pattern of like heaviness, depression. I can't get anywhere. I can't do anything. And then being like, wait a minute. No, the energy is a little bit different. Wait, it doesn't have to be this way. Wait, there's a solution to this problem. Now, adding to the weirdness of this time is that we're still feeling Neptune square the nodes. And like I said, it's gone on since the end of October, and this 3 full months of this energy, but they're starting to separate. But here's another 11. They're 1 degree apart. So that's conjunction, right? So they're not exact, but they're within 1 degree, Neptune in square to the nodes of the moon until February 11th. We come out of the 1 degree connection. So it's like, it's still going to be a very strange movie until then. But it's interesting, these 11s, because it's almost like that thing of like, we got to go in through this portal to something new. And that means we've got to face the adversary, not war in a traditional fight of, fighting and violence and physical energy. But we do need to face these inner distortions of the programming we've all had to take on just to exist in this world. We all had to take on this low self-worth vermin program in order to be here, in order to survive. And now we're being like, that doesn't fit on any level who I am as a soul. And how dare you? And how dare me falling into this and buying into this? And it's time to clean it all up. And you're the cleanup crew. And that's actually, it sounds overwhelming, but at the same time, it's like you're going to be using your gifts and skills, and it's going to be so satisfying. So that's what's trying to happen here, trying to rearrange into this new paradigm. That means you figuring out your role you're here to play and honoring yourself as this gift for the world. So everything is coming together to work towards this. And just know that we're suspended in time again. We're still got Neptune square the nodes. It's a strange, strange movie, and we're stuck in between worlds, but nothing can stop what is coming. We've gone too far now. And so can we get comfortable in the uncomfortable and do our work? Show up. Now it's a different kind of work. The Capricorn work was about clearing karma, taking back our power, and now it's Aquarian work. It's new vibrations, new technologies, mixing with the ancient wisdom that's within us. So a lot of part of what's confusing for the supernova soul, when I talk about like your role, that, this avenue coming for you to, your gifts and everything, we get caught up in like the skills that we have and the job we want to do and who we think we are here just from this lifetime. But it's really important to understand, and especially with this Aquarius energy, that your role here and your avenue is most likely, for the most part, using skills that you developed over many lifetimes previous to this incarnation. So you might have some certificates and modalities and all these things that all the supernova souls have stacked up, right? But what you're really using is your spiritual gifts that you might not have even realized you had, and this is us coming into this profound wealth. So the avenue of using these gifts might look differently than you think. And this is this overhaul we're going through right now. This astrology in January was so much going on. It's like you can't make sense of it. And so February is kind of about that. It's about assimilating, adjusting, healing from 2020, and giving ourselves permission to move into a new energy. It's interesting because the Aquarian energy is, because we're going to have Saturn in Aquarius, Jupiter in Aquarius this year. Jupiter will move over into Pisces for a little while. But all this Aquarius energy is like, ideas and solutions and possibilities and the future vision and all that. But the ox is like stable like that Taurus energy, that stability of stabilizing in a new paradigm. So very interesting combination of energies. And it feels like for you, supernova soul, of course, that stability is about finally standing up for yourself and valuing who you are and saying no to whatever can't. You don't care about cutting off ties or being alone, or, it's like you just have to raise the bar on your experiences in this paradigm, So it's interesting, the combination in this astrology that's about you coming into your profound wealth, and at the same time, it's all tied into the secrets of the dark, shadowy energies the disclosure of those things. So the disclosure for you is about this great redemption of this beautiful, purified, amazing soul. Yeah, you went down in the dark and you incarnated into the Piscean age and you got all that mud slung all over you for lifetimes. But you are the light of this world, and it's time to claim that back and own it and stand strong and tall in that wealth. And isn't it interesting that there's a connection, not a direct connection, but you coming into your wealth and finally valuing who you are, and the revealing of what we thought was valuable on the surface. It looks shiny and pretty, but it's actually rotten and disgusting underneath. So isn't that interesting? And it's that flipping of the table, turning of the tides, very much fits the Aquarian energy. Like, whoa, new paradigm, like, whoa, new idea, all of a sudden. So Uranus energy is like a new concept coming in, either future technology, future possibilities, visionary energies of the future, or ancient wisdom. And it's coming in, it's like total shift of perspective. And how powerful to have a Mercury retrograde in Aquarius. So maybe we can see, oh, I can really take advantage of this time because I'm going to have a radical shift in my perspective and be ready to run with these new energies and get out of the wallowing and blaming yourself for all the darkness on the planet when you came in as a purified, full initiate soul. And get out, just pull all your energy out of anywhere you've been feeding that lower matrix without realizing it, So powerful, intense times. I'm so glad we're here together, and we'll just see. Let's just take it day by day and see what this big birth canal shift is going on here. What's happening? Where are we at? What does it mean? We don't know, but at least it's going to be different from where we were. So hang in there, stick with me, and we'll see what tomorrow brings. And just sit tight with this newfound wealth and worth. Own it, love it, be it, and prepare for this avenue that's coming, that's going to be so deeply satisfying for you to fully express who you are here. You didn't come. It's interesting looking at the birth charts of supernova soul, astrology birth chart. There's often this picture that comes forward of like, yeah, you can complete your karma here. You got, a lot of times there's all this going on, like lots of stuff you wanted to do, like bring together all these different divergent sets of skills and gifts from other lifetimes and put them into a package. But it's this weird thing, like we kind of bought into this idea that we're stuck here, we're karmically stuck here, we're trapped, but we're evolved beings. We came as a volunteer, and that means we don't need to be here. We can complete our karma and get the heck out of here, but that's not going to satisfy you, because what you really came here to Earth for in this evolution was the full expression of your spiritual potential. And you're not going to be happy leaving here until you do that. So it's not about what your role is to help humanity. That's a side effect. It's about you going supernova and being in the full expression in a physical body, on a planet, or whatever's happening here, of this powerful light within you. And that's all that matters to you. We think it's about, we get in this place of like, well, if I only had that relationship or that community and I lived in the right place or the right job. And it's like, no, all that goes away if you feel like you're expressing the gifts that are within you, because they've been just called the darkness. They've been disregarded. They've been devalued. They've been made fun of, And now to have the world be like, we really need you. Thank God you're here, and those people that have been making fun of you and calling, just like antagonizing you, calling you up and asking for support because they know you're the one that they can talk to. I mean, this is the tables are turning, and why not get ahead of the game and start just deeply, deeply valuing all the work you've done before coming to Earth and through your Earth evolution. And that the only thing that makes sense is that you are this evolved soul and you came here to go supernova and for your full expression. And let's get on with it. right? So this let's get on with it. We got to have the truth come out and let's get on with it. If I'm not going to be using my gifts and skills here into the full extent of what my potential, why am I even here on this planet? Why should we grace this planet with our precious gifts of light and love if they can't be received? That worked for a while, but now we're waking up and remembering who we are, and we're not playing. So incredibly empowering time, incredibly uncomfortable time, incredibly activating time, but also that brings us a subtle anxiety. So just tend to yourself, your nervous system, your physical body, and we'll go through this strange birth canal portal together, Mercury retrograde in Aquarius. So I look forward to seeing you soon on the next update. Until then, stick with me. I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.